We are currently on a barge and found this one.
Hello everybody and welcome aboard the Princess Catherine. As we set off, we're going to have a brief safety announcement. You'll be informed by means of announcement or by a crew member. Please listen carefully to any instructions given. This vessel is equipped with 2 life rafts at the rear and full life safety equipment. There are 2 exit points for the main cabin on either side of the vessel by the skipper and 1 at the rear. Smoking is not permitted at any time during your tour. There are 2 toilets located on the vessel just before the stairs leading to the row deck.
So they'll be coming tomorrow.
A building to the right
My phone was being a spanner.
Gallery and Theatre Complex, opened by Queen Elizabeth II in 2000 as part of the regeneration of the Salford Docks area. Its architectural design has been described as Salford's not quite Guggenheim after the famous Spanish museum. It is named after the 20th century painter L.S. Lowry, who was famous for his matchstick men style of painting industrial scenes in the northwest. Salford Quays is linked to the new home of ITV Studios on the Coronation Street set on the Trafford side of the canal by a median city footbridge, which spans 65 metres and weighs 450 tonnes. This swings from a concrete foundation, opening up a 48-metre wide navigation channel. On the Trafford side of the canal is the new home of ITV and latest site for the set of their famous soap Coronation Street, which moved here in 2013. Coronation Street was first aired on the 9th of December 1960 and is the world's longest running soap opera. It was created by Tony Warren, who drew inspiration from his grandmother's surroundings in inner city Salford and created Coronation Street, a working class community inhabited by ordinary people leading unspectacular lives. Ahead of us now is mowed wheel locks. This is the last of 5 locks that ships have to travel through when making the 35-mile journey from the start of the canal at Easton. It was here that Queen Victoria opened the ship canal in 1894 after its 7-year construction. The 5 locks drop a total of 18 metres from here at the terminal basin down to sea level. The lock we can see is the largest and deepest of the 5 locks at 4.5 metres deep, 180 metres in length and 24 metres in width. Each set has a large lock for ocean-going ships and a smaller, narrower lock for vessels such as tugs and coasters. On our right, there are a set of 3 breaking docks which could accommodate ocean-going ships of up to 535 feet and were used for repairs and maintenance of vessels as they allowed water to be drained away. Manchester Dry Docks Limited folded in 1980 with a loss of 450 jobs. But a band of former employees resurrected this as a shipyard in 1987. Trawlers, cargo vessels, dredgers and even an aluminium catamaran were built here before the docks finally closed in 2007, with their plate rollers, guillotines, presses and other heavy machinery being dismantled and moved to Liverpool.
Starting to think we should be on the other side of here. That might be wrong.
What do you mean?
Hey?
What do you mean?
No, it's fine.
Just tell me what you mean, that's all.
Beyond the dry docks, Coronation Street and Rank Mill is Trafford Park.
This is the first planned industrial park in the world and was Europe's largest for over a century. At its peak, over 75,000 people were employed here. In 1911, the Ford Motor Company opened an assembly plant for its Model T Ford, and by 1915, over 100 American companies had moved to the park. During the Second World War, engines for Spitfires, Mosquitoes, and Lancaster bombers were made here. The dock we are entering now is 9 Dock, and this was originally over half a mile in length, being the largest of the docks to be built here, stretching back to the large office complex behind the school building. It was able to hold 10 ocean liners or large container ships. Manchester Liners Limited was established by Sir Christopher Furness in 1898 to counter the sharp business practices of the ship owners based in Liverpool and to encourage use of the canal. From here, the passenger and shipping company brought in goods from around the world, with Canada being one of their prime routes since the company was incorporated. On our left is Media City, UK, and this is the final area of the docks to be developed. This 200-acre site is now home to the BBC, who moved here in 2011, with shows such as Watchdog, Match of the Day and BBC Breakfast being filmed here. It was developed with an investment of £650 million from the Peel Group, who own the Manchester Ship Canal, having taken control of the company in 1987.
We are turning, 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 turning.
Just outside the Lowry Theatre, on the end of 9 Dock, you can see the sculpture Where the Wild Things Were. The giant blades of elephant grass suggest places beyond the canal where ships sail to and from. This sculpture celebrates the impact of the Manchester Ship Canal, a man-made waterway connecting Salford to the sea and the rest of the world.
Yeah, that's the other
Each
place.
steel base is engraved with drawings by local children who imagine the landscape and wildlife of far-off lands. Their sense of wonder mirrors that of Salfordians who witness bananas, citrus fruits, cotton and tea arrive here from distant shores for the very first time.
Trying to avoid
The
it.
striking building ahead of us is the Imperial War Museum, designed by Daniel Libeskind in the deconstructivist style. Libeskind envisaged a constellation composed of 3 interlocking shards, with each shard being a remnant of an imagined globe shattered by conflict. The museum explores the impact of modern conflict on people and society and was opened in July 2002.
I have to go back in there again at some point. They were nice in there. I like the Manchester Imperial Museum. And there's that weird copper building. That's what it looks like, copper. It's really reflective. Just odd.
The large white footbridge ahead of us is Millennium Bridge. This is a 91.2 metre long vertical lift bridge, which lifts the total length of its walkway, 18 metres, in less than 3 minutes. It was constructed in 2000 at a cost of approximately £5 million.
Leading heck. I could do with some of that money.
large expanse of water we are now entering is the terminal basin, where large ships that use the canal would come to turn around before making a return journey back towards the River Mersey. It represents the main area of the docks, with entrances onto 6, 7 and 8
Don't know why it was
dock,
going.
which at its peak was the
That's
third
better.
busiest port in the UK. Ships weighing up to 12,500 tonnes brought raw cotton, grain and timber, but also supplied Manchester and Salford with tea, fruit, lard, oil, petroleum and frozen cattle from around the world. On our right, a prominent site from the canal, is Old Trafford Football Ground, home to Manchester United since 1910. Although from 1941 to 1949, the club shared main road with local rivals Manchester City as a result of Second World War bomb damage. It is one of the largest stadiums in the UK, having undergone a number of expansions in the 1990s and 2000s. Its record attendance was in 1939, when 76,962 spectators watched the FA Cup semi-final between Wolverhampton Wanderers and Grimsby Town. Concrete pillars that you can see in the water used to form part of a swing railway bridge. This has now been relocated to Dock and acts as a pedestrian bridge across the dock. It was part of the Manchester Ship Canal Railway, which was used to aid the construction of the canal and became the largest privately owned railway in Britain. Is Trafford Road Swing Bridge, which was built in 1892 and is the largest and heaviest of the 7 swing bridges to be built over the canal, weighing 1,800 tonnes. It was hydraulically operated via a pump house, which has now been removed. A hunting horn was used to signal the swinging of the bridge, and it would swing to allow ships to navigate to the Pomona docks further upstream. As one of the few places traffic was able to cross the canal, it gave rise to the saying, "getting bridged," when people had to wait for the bridge to close. People used this expression as an excuse for being late to work. The bridge no longer swings, having been fixed in place since 1997.
Works to our left is a redevelopment of a Colgate palm olive factory which closed in 2007, having one of the last large industrial sites to remain on this part of the canal. This was a detergent and toiletries manufacturing complex and utilised the canal to transport cargo. It is now home to TalkTalk, the first FTSE 100 company to relocate its headquarters outside of London. We are now coming back into the Pomona area of Manchester now, and from here we are just going to our Rally Quay stop in the city centre to drop off some passengers and pick up some more before resuming the tour.
So it works. Weird looking buildings. Going out of focus. Bloody silly camera. Strange buildings. Typical Manchester. So, do you want to go to the Premier Inn?
The brick building on our left is the Victoria and Albert Hotel. This was originally a cotton warehouse dating back to the 1820s and is now one of the oldest buildings to remain along this part of the river. You can see the overhanging sections are where goods were brought into the warehouse from the river barges. Next to the hotel, you can see a large building development, and this is the factory, soon to be the new home of the Manchester International Festival. It is an £180 million art centre development designed to bring culture to the north of England with an 80-man orchestra pit, a 2,000-seater auditorium and a 5,000 capacity flexible warehouse venue.
Wow. Yeah, that bit building, yeah.
stonework bridge ahead of us now is the Grade 2 listed Stephenson's Bridge, dating back to 1830 when it saw the world's first ever passenger rail service, with a train travelling between Liverpool and Manchester.
Stinky. Unless it's you. No.
Yeah.
Okay. Oh, you can see the coffee that we had in the background. What?
Sorry?
The reflection.
Just coming up right now, under this small iron bridge, you can see into Wilburn Basin. This is where carts and wagons used to come from all over Manchester and Salford, bringing night soil. This night soil would be loaded into barges and taken down the river to a place called Dunklington. We are now coming up to Regent Road Bridge, one of the main routes into Manchester, and historically it was one of the main roads connecting to Liverpool. During the height of the city's industrial past, a large Groves and Whitnall brewery sat on the banks of the river here, and the road was lined with drinking dens, frequented by the local dockers and sailors that sailed here from around the world. It was these dockers and sailors who would help the area gain a reputation as the Barbary Coast of England. We are now on the River Irwell, one of the three rivers of Manchester, alongside the Irk and the Medlock. Here you can see the border between Salford on our right and Manchester on our left. This was where the Salford Anglers Club was instituted in 1817, the world's oldest Angler society. But during the Industrial Revolution, it was said to be the hardest working waterway in England. Lined by cotton mills, factories large and small, it suffered from pollution until recent efforts have now seen a return of fish and wildlife. The next footbridge we can see is known as Mark Addy Bridge and dates back to 1872. And this marks the border between the Manchester Ship Canal and the River Irwell. It was named after local hero Mark Addy, who was a publican of the old Boathouse Inn and a champion oarsman. He was honoured with the Albert Medal for rescuing 50 people from the Irwell.
Oh, put them under here so they didn't blow away.
Thank you.
Got that? Yeah.
The idea for the Manchester Ship Canal came about when Manchester was a thriving city at the heart of the Industrial Revolution. Originally built on the cotton trade, the Ship Canal enabled the engineering and chemical industries that supported it to be expanded and diversified, so that by 1935, Manchester was, without challenge, the first and greatest industrial city in the world. The cost of transporting goods through the port of Liverpool and aboard the railways was seen as excessive by the business community of Manchester, with goods often being cheaper to transport through the docks at Hull on the other side of the country rather than through Liverpool. As such, a canal was proposed, bypassing the Liverpool docks and bringing sea 40 miles inland to Manchester. The building of the canal was approved by an Act of Parliament in 1885. It would require the excavation of 41 million cubic metres of earth along its 36-mile stretch, dug mostly by hand by navvies, and the construction of 5 locks able to take vessels up to 160 metres in length and 20 metres wide. It is the longest river navigation canal and remains the world's 8th longest ship canal, only slightly shorter than the Panama Canal in Central America. The canal was built mostly by manual labourers known as navvies. These were groups of labourers who would travel the country working on civil engineering projects, such as railways and canals. Temporary shanty towns would be set up along the stretch of the canal they were working on, set out into quarters based on where the workers came from. Up to 30% of the navvies who built the canal were Irish. They would wheelbarrow hand-dug dirt from the bottom of the canal to waiting railway carriages. Up to 1,100 navvies would die during the construction of the canal.
I wouldn't be surprised a lot of this is haunted.
That's about it.
The area to our right is known as Ordsall and was home to many of the workers from Salford Docks and the Ship Canal. It was described by Frederick Engels in the 1840s as a peninsula formed by a river, a town of 80,000 people, which is properly speaking one large working man's quarter. The houses here were traditional terrace houses set out in back-to-back streets. One such street, known as Archie Street, was the inspiration for the set design of Coronation Street. Archie Street also had a second claim to fame, as in 1936, Manchester United's Busby babe, Eddie Coleman, was born there.
Oh, look. Foundry. Coming up to Foundry, yeah.
The third, isn't it? The foundry.
Yeah.
To the left of us is Pomona Island, bordered with the Bridgewater Canal on one side and the Ship Canal on the other. This was originally the site of Botanic Gardens and the Royal Pomona Palace until 1880, when the land was purchased to make way for the docks. The Royal Pomona Palace was the largest hall of its kind in the country. Surrounded by pavilions, it exhibited a 100-foot clock tower, an orchestra pit for 100 performers, and could hold 30,000 people. The tea room ceiling was painted with figures of Mars, Venus, Neptune, Vulcan, and Pomona. There were 4 docks built here, but all but number 3 dock have now been infilled. It was along the wharf here that Guinness was shipped direct from the brewery in Dublin for distribution across the north. If you look to our left now, you can see into number 3 dock, where the new Hume lock has been made for access to the Bridgewater Canal. Kellogg's would transport maize up the Ship Canal, where it was transferred to a Mersey flatboat before being taken down the Bridgewater to their factory in Trafford, where it would be turned into cornflakes.
Turn to the side.
The Bridgewater Canal was opened in 1761 by Sir Francis Egerton, the 3rd Duke of Bridgewater, to transport coal from Worsley to Manchester. Engineered by James Brindley, it was considered to be one of the first true canals, as unlike many other canals, it was not simply an extension of a river. Although its great initial cost of approximately £25 million in today's money, it saw the cost of transporting coal fall by half, and it inspired an intense period of canal
I know, I see them.
known as Canal Mania.
Oh, signets.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah. We're listening to the history and we're looking at swans. Oh,
Swan down.
no, what really? Oh. Right. Gonna zoom out again.
Sorry?
No, I was zooming out.
Alright.
I was zoomed in on the
No, I didn't know what you said.
Wow, look at all them birds. Just zoom on. Oh, loads. They did say the wildlife was pretty good. Oh, big wooden thing in the way. Ah. Yes, seagulls and must be. Wow, look at all of them. Loads. No, true. Even though the birds were giving me funny looks. On what the hell? Gnome Island? No way.
Nobody told me about that.
No, nobody. That's funny. It's obviously to stop boats going up there.
Yeah, that's awesome.
These are not seagulls, they're canal gulls.
Well, they're just gulls, aren't they?
Yeah, I know.
There's no such thing as a seagull there.
I know.
Because they live on land instead. But I know what you mean.
Some weird looking buildings over there. Shape of that blue one.
The what?
That blue one over there.
The buildings.
Yeah.
To last some concrete nightmares.
Quayside Media City. Getting nearly back to where we started. Nearly. Weird blue building.
We used to film this morning around here somewhere. This morning, the programme this morning. Yeah, did they used to film it around here somewhere?
I don't know.
I think they did. I just don't know where.
Virgin Active. New cinema. Yeah. It's not very active at all, is it? It's Virgin Unactive.
Virgin of the ridiculous.
That and all. Right, zoom out again. Is this where we started from? Pardon?
I can't remember, I think so.
Find out.
Yeah, I think
Yeah,
so.
yeah, it is. Right, I'll stop. And there it goes. It appears Simon has made a new friend. Julia and Axel. Looks like the Guffalo to me, but there you go. So we're at the Lowry in Salford. There you go. Some more strange buildings. And we're gonna get home before it absolutely throws it down with rain. That's the area we came from, the ferry. And I've had enough. I am going home.